Hi, I'm going to give you 4 magic words which you can use in a lot of situations to help move safety conversations forward in a more positive direction. But be careful. Like any good thing, you can use it too much and you can use it badly. I've worked in one organization where we all got trained to use this phrase and we just started hammering each other with it and it didn't end well. So be careful with this. The magic phrase is, what do you suggest? Or what do you propose? Or it could be something else like, what do you think? What would you do? You could phrase it in lots of different ways, but the idea is to throw the onus of coming up with solutions back onto the person that you're speaking to. Now you could use this in lots of different ways. Let's say you've got someone who's complaining, objecting about something. You could use it then. So, well, what would you do? What do you suggest we do? If you're in a meeting and there's a bit of a disagreement and you're struggling to get past that disagreement, you could say, okay, I hear you. What do you suggest we do? So on. So this can be a very powerful phrase, but, and there's a big but here, you must make sure that you don't just throw it at people clumsily and brutally in a way to, I don't know, abdicate responsibility. You don't want to come across as the person with slopey shoulders who refuses to take on any of the responsibility. So first thing you do when you're in these types of situations, disagreements, people complaining and so on, you could start by listening to them and then trying to agree with them as much as you can. Now, maybe you can't agree with anything. Well, at the very least, you can validate what they say. You can at least perhaps agree that if you were in their shoes, perhaps you would feel the same way. You could agree that it's a problem. You could agree that it's not ideal. You could at least agree that they're upset about it or complaining about it and so on. And so listen to what they say, validate what they say, and then you could come up with a what do you think? What do you suggest? What do you propose? What would you do if you were in my shoes? Now, they may come up with a very good solution, a very good idea, or an idea that's acceptable at least, maybe an idea that's not as good as your idea or your way of doing things, but which is at least acceptable. And at that point, and I could do another video on this, at that point I would say yes as much as I can. I would say yes to people as much as I possibly can. So if they've got an idea which is acceptable to a point, go with it. Go with their idea, and they will implement that idea with far more enthusiasm, more zeal than any of your ideas. But let's just say they don't have a very good idea. It's an idea which isn't legally compliant, say, it doesn't comply with health and safety law. So you could then at that point say, I hear you, and if I could do that, I would. And the reality is that we have some safety law which we must comply with, and this is the law, this is what it says, this is what it requires. And that gives us a bit of leeway, but we do have to comply with this law. So bearing in mind the legal boundaries that we work within, what do you suggest we do? How could we get around this? How would you do this? And you just throw it back to them. You give them the boundaries within which you have to work within and get them to come up with ideas and solutions. And wherever possible, try to implement those ideas and solutions with them so that these are their ideas rather than your ideas. And you'll find people are just so much more enthusiastic when it comes to implementing their own ideas. Anyway, that was just a quick one from me. I've got to go back to my IOSH Managing Safely training, so enjoy your day.